Hi, it's vlog time. I have a game that I think will work to replace English Country Tune, and that should be going up in a couple of days, but I wanted to use the in-between space just to talk about some stuff that's been going on with me. So one of my video game passions has come back up for some reason in the forefront of my mind, and that is dance pad video games. These are a thing that I've been into for about 11 or 12 years now. It's been a while. And yeah, I've just kind of been doing them on and off here and there. It's usually been a lot of players of these games. So there's Dance Dance Revolution, Pump It Up, In the Groove are sort of the big three. In the Groove is my main one that I like the most. I started with DDR way back in the day when, let's see, it was on PS2. I was playing on a soft pad. Just some friends I knew at work had introduced me to it, and I was captivated. It was a special thing that I knew I wanted to spend a lot of time with this game. So that one and its derivatives have probably given me the most hours of fun of any video game category, I guess, of anything in my life. So I know it doesn't come up here all that often, but it's really a big thing. A lot of other people in the dance game community seem to have also been kind of touched very deeply by this game. I don't know what it is about it, but just once you play it and get into it, it's really something special. It sticks with you probably for life. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of that sort of thing lately, trying to get back into the sort of shape that I was in maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I was kind of at my peak and was able to do pretty well at these things. I'm feeling okay now, but I still there's always more to go. So it's always kind of been a thing that I did at home, just purely out of practicality, because I live kind of in the middle of nowhere, and arcades around here, there have been a few arcades kind of near me that have had dance games in them at various times, but they come and go. Arcades aren't doing too well these days, so I did not have a solid arcade scene near me where I could go and play these things. The arcade experience is definitely better than the home experience in a lot of ways, just in terms of the equipment, and the environment is iffy. Sometimes it's very noisy, it can be very crowded, but yeah, it's just a different thing to play at home. So the equipment that I have at home was the best thing I could buy at the time to reasonably well mimic the arcade style pads. What I've decided to do is to try and build my own replica of an arcade machine and dance pads to get something that's even closer to the arcade experience at home. So that's been a fun project. That's been going on for about a month and a half now, as I've drawn up schematics, tried to visit arcades, get measurements, try to make my replica as accurate as possible. So I've gotten a lot of parts for it. I have a few here. So arcade machines use these things in their arrow panels. This is sort of a pressure sensor. Squeeze it in the middle, and these two wires form a connection, basically. So that's how the step detection works. So these are the real things. I have 32 of them, and they're going to be going into a pair of dance pads. Right, so one of the problems with the equipment that I have now is I have just one pad of the same type. I can't play double mode, which has 8 arrows at a time. So I've ordered acrylic sheets, which are being cut into arrow panels. That one's not cut, but I have some footage of me using a miter saw to cut it to the appropriate shape, which is not exactly octagonal, but the corners need to come off for reasons. Decals will be going on them, so they look like the real thing. And yeah, it's been a really interesting process to try to figure out where to get all these parts, how to get them made. Why is Windows asking me this? This is silly. Sorry, ignore that. Windows asked if I wanted to change my color scheme because it detected things were running slowly. I do not think that is a problem. Anyway, another part that okay, here, let me show you this. So here in Inkscape, which is a wonderful vector graphics program, I've put together, well, this is still a work in progress, but this is the schematic that I'm working with for the pad that I'm building. This is only one half. Just imagine this mirrored over on the right side for the Player 2 pad, or I would also use it if I'm playing double mode, which has me on both of them. So the foundation of this, let's see, what do I want to hide here exactly? So there's a base plate that's going to be made of plywood. Some finish around the edge, just don't mind that. These here are 2x3s laid down to, let me hide this, just to hold everything up. So there are 5 non-arrow panels, which they're just solid. And then the ones that actually do stuff, like these are the sensors that I showed you earlier. The ones that do stuff have this sort of stuff inside them. So this should be reasonably accurate to what an arcade machine looks like. I visited one, which was a 2.5-hour drive away, which is kind of a pain, but that was the closest arcade to me these days. So those are the lengths I have to do to go to get to this in the arcade. Anyway, so the principle here is just that the acrylic panels are held down by these brackets. I have one here. I have all of these that I need. This is a part you can just buy online, but not all of them can. These things that they connect to here, these triangle bracket holders I'm calling them, are going to have to be made by a machine shop. I've talked to a machine shop about this project, and it sounds like they'll be able to do what I need them to, but it's kind of a complicated process. Anyway, so that's been kind of my main focus lately, just as far as hobby projects go. Just getting all the materials together, figuring out what needs to happen, fitting all the puzzle pieces together for how they go. Because the real arcade pads are made of metal. They don't have wood in them like I'm using here, but wood's just a little bit easier to work with and should do the job reasonably well. Anyway, so that's been the thing that I'm working on, and hopefully I'll be able to show. I'm planning to document it all as thoroughly as possible, and probably put up a building video once I have all the pieces together and I'm ready to assemble them. Now, something came up when I was in the middle of this process, and I'm very glad that I happened to have ordered these. Well, this is brown because there's a protective film on it, but it's acrylic on the inside. I just realized when I was showing that. So something happened. The dance pad that I was using actually had one of its arrows just shatter. So these are some of the broken pieces of it. Conveniently enough, the new ones that I was cutting for the pad that I was building were able to fit in, so I used one of those to repair it. So that one's still in working order, but it's just kind of funny that it happened to shatter right as I was cutting new acrylic to use for something else. So that was, well, I wouldn't say it was convenient, but could have been a lot more inconvenient. Yeah, anyway, so one of the other things I was thinking about was that it might be fun to stream this game on Twitch. I've watched a few other people who do it, and I think I could, put on a decent show, have it be reasonably fun. So I'm thinking I might start doing that sometime soon, just because I'm playing this game anyway every other day, and it's not. Now that I've figured out the setup that I would need, it's not an enormous amount of extra effort just to get it all set up for recording or streaming, so that might happen. I'll put a link to my Twitch channel in the description. I don't have... let's see, tentatively I would say I might stream in 2 days. That'd be Monday evening. The sun is shining on me and it's making this all washed out. Let me close my curtain. Right. Now it's kind of dark. Oh well. Another thing I was thinking was that I'll probably want to put some highlights from this on YouTube, but a few things are making me reluctant to do that. I don't want to flood my current YouTube channel with all this stuff when I want to just keep it for other kinds of LPs. So I'm kind of tempted to use a second channel for that, both for just isolating them by topics so that people who are interested in dance games can subscribe to the one, people who want to see other games can subscribe to the other, and also for possible copyright worries, because if I accidentally put something up that has some music on it that has a copyright that I'm not aware of, then I wouldn't want that to affect my main channel. So I haven't worked that out for sure. But I do have a second YouTube channel that I've just never used for anything, so I think this might be a reasonable use for it. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I'll share more of it as the project comes together more, hopefully in the next few weeks or so. I need to get my metal part schematics finalized and sent off to the machine shop for fabrication, and after that, it's basically just buy a little bit of lumber, cut it up, and put everything together. Wiring, I guess I still need to figure out. I think I have all the equipment I need for it. I just haven't figured out like the exact routing of what wire goes where and all that stuff. But that can come a little bit later. But yeah, anyway, so hopefully I'll have the video of me doing that and all these schematics and my measurements. Whoa, that's very white there. Let's just get that off my screen. Yeah, I'm intending to share this in a way that's as reproducible as possible, because I want there's a lot of interest in having arcade accurate equipment for people to use at home, but nobody has really done it extremely well. A few people have built their own pads and have shared some information about them, but I feel like it hasn't been entirely complete, and I'd like to contribute my own designs to the community, and in case anybody else wants to build these, or I do have a friend who would definitely be interested in buying one of these from me if I would build an extra, so maybe I'll build more of these and sell them to people, because that'd be cool. I thought about the idea of buying an actual arcade machine, and that's honestly what I would like. But the problem is, so In the Groove was kind of a spiritual successor to DDR, and it wasn't endorsed by Konami. And after it had been around for a few years, there was actually a lawsuit that happened, and all of the IP rights were assigned to Konami for In the Groove, and they just sort of killed it off. So I cannot find In the Groove machines anymore. They're just, most of them have ended up in the homes of private collectors, like what I would like to do, or just have sort of disappeared. So I tried for a long time to find one of those to buy, and could not. Even if I could find an arcade that had one that was willing to part with it, it would kind of make me sad to take one out of circulation if it was at a place where people could play on it. So I figure it's kind of better to, if I build my own, I can add one more to the world instead of kind of taking one away from the public space. So that's what I'm thinking with this project. Anyway, I hope to put up more updates about it sometime soon, and once I figure out all this Twitch and possible second YouTube channel stuff, I'll put up some stuff about that too. Yeah. Right, so hopefully soon, more information about this and an actual assembly video, and hopefully you'll see me actually using it, assuming I can get everything together and working. Like I said, it's a big puzzle to fit together because I have to make up the shapes of some of the pieces and the materials of them, and I'm learning lots about building things, which I was never really an expert on that, but I knew enough to to learn the amount more that I would need to bridge the gap to get this project done, I think. But I guess that remains to be seen once it all comes together, to see if it's as good as I'm picturing in my head. Anyway, just wanted to share that. So I'll see you for the next one of these sometime.